Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. Welcome to this week's live. So what we're going to be talking about today is posture. And I'm calling this my top three quarantine postures and how they are hurting you. So these times are different from normal, obviously, and we're doing different things with our posture that is definitely hurting us. So that's why I wanted to dig deep on this week, especially because I'm seeing more and more of this in the practice. So I just want to give you some tools so you can stop this. And actually, what's interesting is a lot of these things are not just during quarantine time. They're all the time for people. I just find people are doing more of it right now. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to go through what bad posture is doing to our back. Then I'm going to go through the top three postures specifically and give you tools on what you can do to change them and give you alternatives that are healthier for your back. And then I'm going to go do a bonus tip for the parents. So if you stick to the end, you'll get my little parenting bonus posture tip. Throughout this, I can already see there's some people that are joining us live, so thank you so much. If you have questions, if you have any concerns about your posture, please feel free to type it in, and I will get to your comments. Maybe not till the end of the recording, but I will definitely get to them and ask you or answer them for you. So first of all, let's talk about posture and why it's important in the first place. So, you may have heard over your lifetime, sit up straight and all these things, but why? I'm going to use one of our slam balls from the gym to demonstrate this. So I want you to imagine you have a ball in front of you, okay? So this slam ball is about 10 pounds. It's a little heavier. Your head is somewhere around 8 pounds, okay? But I'm going to relate this analogy to your head. So imagine if you were holding this, and I get my patients to do this a lot. I'll ask, do you think it would be easier to hold it closer to your body or further away from your body? So if you think about it, if you were holding something 8 to 10 pounds, what's easier? So obviously, right now, my arms are starting to shake a little bit, whereas if it's closer, it's easier on my body. The same thing is going on with your head. So this is like one of the slam balls. They're often talked about like a bowling ball. So if your head is in good alignment, you're going to keep a nice C curve in your neck, and everything's going to be stacked up and everything's nice and relaxed. But the more your head comes forward, that's like holding that slam ball out here. So over time, it's going to make your muscles and your joints work extra hard to support your head in that position. So again, if your alignment is really good, everything's stacked really nice, it's easier on the body and your muscles don't have to work hard to stabilize it. But the research tells us every inch your head comes forward is 10 times more stress and strain on the joints and the muscles of specifically your upper back and your neck. So if you're someone right now you're feeling tension, you're feeling tight, maybe you're starting to have headaches or different aches and pains, you're starting to get numbness into your hands, that could be from posture and from the stresses and strains. It's something I see all the time in my practice, but again, now more so because people are doing some of the things that I'm going to talk about in a couple minutes, and they're doing more of it because of this lifestyle change. So you really want to be mindful if you're having any symptoms, posture and slouching, and I hope now you understand why, because of, again, picture me holding the ball forward. It's harder on your body. Now, two other aspects of why posture is so important. The second one is breathing. So think about just what organs are being compressed when you slouch. Think about your lung capacity. So there's research that shows your lung capacity can actually be up to 30% less when you're slouching versus when you're upright. So that affects so many things with your body. That affects oxygen intake. That affects circulation throughout the body. It can affect your energy. It can affect breathing. There are so many different aspects to it. So that's something that people don't often think about, because again, we focus on the appearance, or we focus on the aches and pains that can happen, but lung capacity, you get compressed there and then you don't get as much oxygen. And then the third thing is there's actually some cool research, this one out of New Zealand, the university in Auckland, and what they found is that people that are slouching a lot, it affects things like self-esteem, confidence, how well you tackle stressful events. And the more upright your posture is, literally the opposite. People will report their self-esteem's higher, confidence is higher, they can handle different events and things with more confidence and better. So there's a lot of different reasons why posture is important, but how you feel, like I said, some of these like psychological things, and also breathing. So it's really, really important. It's more important than people, I think, realize, but your posture is massively important. So now we're going to go into the different things, so let me take it back a step. I'm working right now and I'm seeing emergency patients. And over this, what has it been, 9-10 weeks, slowly as the weeks have gone on, unfortunately, I have seen more and more people that are having flare-ups and issues. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, lack of care. If someone's used to being in good alignment and used to getting their regular chiropractic care, massages, they're used to their regular gym regimen. Now we're not taking care of ourselves as well because we don't have access to those things. So slowly over time, of course, a lot of these challenges are going to come back, which is why we talk about maintenance care so much in the office. But secondly, postures. We're doing different activities that we weren't doing as much before, and I'm hearing a lot of that. So I want to get into this right now. The first one that I am seeing a lot of people doing, and it's one of the causes of them having to come in with a flare-up, is they're working at their kitchen table. So this may be you. You normally have a desk at your office that's ergonomically set up by professionals for you, and it's set up really well for your body size and your height and all of that. And now you're working from your kitchen table. And I'm not actually going to go into too much detail on this right now because I did a whole webinar on this. And when I'm done this Facebook Live, I will put the link to that YouTube clip of that webinar. So if you want to really dive deep and figure out, how you can change your desk setup so it doesn't hurt you. But I'll just hit the key points. The screen. So top of the screen needs to be level with your eyes. So if your screen is too low, you're going to be looking down. And that's going to create, remember again when I was holding the ball, the slam ball, your head is that slam ball. So the more your head's coming forward, the more trouble you're going to have. So you need to have that screen high enough so you're looking up. And then the other thing is 90-degree angles. So with regards to your hips, your elbows, your ankles, your knees, everything needs to be 90 degrees. So again, I go into much more detail in the webinar, so I'll encourage you to look at that. But this is, I had a patient this week that came in and all of a sudden she's having elbow and wrist issues. Never in her life has she had these. But when we look at what she's doing, she's now working from a kitchen table the countertop in her kitchen, and it's too high. So she's not at 90 degrees. Her wrist is actually higher than her elbow. So she's typing like this, and that's putting all kinds of stress and strain here. So you've got to make sure it's 90 degrees. I'm trying my best to do this in the video, but 90 degrees so you're not... you just don't want your wrist higher than your elbow, okay? So it's got to be low. So I encouraged her to elevate her chair so she can, or get out of the kitchen counter and find another way, so that way she can have the right angles so she's not hurting herself. Okay, but again, dive deep into that webinar if you want more information. But those are the biggest things. Now, so that's tip number one, kitchen table and doing your work. Number two is how many of you have watched way more Netflix shows and series than normal, right? A lot of us are watching way more TV and we're sitting at our couches a lot more. And couches are actually horrible for specifically your low back. And the reason with that is because you sink in. So when you sink into the chair, you're actually losing that nice curve in your low back that your low back needs to be healthy. So we want to try and avoid too much couch time. And there are other alternatives, like you can sit on the floor. If you have like an exercise ball, you can sit on that because those things will help you maintain your curve. You can get a towel and roll it up like a log and kind of put it in your low back to keep that curve. Or the other thing is just get up and move around. I always tell people to try and move every 30 minutes. So you never want to sit in position for 30 minutes, more than 30 minutes without getting up and moving around. You're going to stiffen up. There is if you're looking to make an investment, there's a type of chair that you can buy. I think it's called a stressless chair. They sell them at Digs and Dwellings in Sudbury. They're I don't know, $2,000. It's an investment. It's a piece of furniture investment. But the nice thing about it is it's really supportive of your back. It's, in my opinion, the best type of recliner chair that you can get. And it's not going to allow that sinking. So if you're in the market to make an investment, those would be, that's the best type of chair that I would, oh, Mackenzie says she has one. It is great, isn't it? I have one as well, and they're awesome. I can't sit on my couch. I don't even do it. I just stick with that chair because I notice a massive difference as soon as I do. So that would be something, again, if you're looking to invest in something. But if not, some of these alternatives can help, just getting off of the couch, maybe getting on the floor, doing some stretching while you're watching TV. Why not stand for a little bit? Just moving around can be really helpful. And then the other thing that I wanted to tell you about sitting and watching TV is make sure the TV is directly in front of you. I've seen a lot of this where I see a patient and they're having, like, there's a big difference in their tension from side to side. And one of the questions I ask is, when you're watching TV, where's your TV? And I find out that they're always sitting, like they're sitting like this, but the TV's over here. So they're twisting their body like this while they're watching TV all the time. And that, of course, it's going to take its toll over time. So make sure that you're directly looking at your TV. And as well, how are you sitting? So you should be sitting nice and neutral. So, again, if over time, like I'll see if someone has a hip issue, like one hip's tighter and higher than the other, I find out that they always sit, like instead of sitting nice and neutral in 90 degrees, they're like kind of twisted with their legs, or their knees are bent and their feet are hiked out to the side, and they're always in that same position all the time. So you want to make sure you're neutral so you're not creating some of these challenges. So that is, so we've talked about your desk setup, we've talked about your TV setup, and I have one more before I do the bonus for parents. But just remember, I can see that there's some people watching. If you have any questions about what I'm talking about, please don't be afraid to write it into the chat box and I'll address it, okay? So now the last one is bedtime social media. So how many of you, before you fall asleep, are like slouching in your bed like this on your phone? Maybe not your bed, maybe somewhere else, but we're using our phones probably now more than ever, and we were already using them way too much. But what is your cell phone posture? And if you've followed along with me, you've heard me talk about this before, but it's so important. You need to have your phone or your tablet. If you're on a tablet, you need to raise it so you're looking directly at it and not down. It's just like I was just talking about with regards to your computer. You want the top of the screen level with your eyes. Your cell phone's the same thing. It's got to be eye level. If it's down here, you're looking down, and then you're just like I was showing the ball coming forward. That's what's happening. So there's a couple things that you can do for this. My number one tip to get people to remember to do this, because we pick up our phone 80,000 times in a day. How are you going to remember to do it every time? I would encourage you to make the background of your phone say look up or posture or something like that. Like literally Google look up and there'll be a picture of it, or write it on a piece of paper and take a picture of that and make it the background of your phone so you remember to do it more frequently, okay? You've got to change a habit, and that doesn't happen unless you're constantly reminding yourself. So in my experience, that's been the best tip for people to actually remember to do it. Now, if you're sitting in your bed, you need to do something, because what happens, or even on the couch, when you're doing this for a while, people will complain to me that my arms start to get sore. So I have two answers to that. Number one, that might be a sign you've been on your phone for too long, so maybe that's your cue to get off. But if not, the second thing is put something under your elbows so you can rest your elbows. Okay, so that might be a pillow, a couch cushion, maybe you fold up a blanket or something, but rest your arms so that way you're looking straight at your phone. Now, another thing with being on your bed would be lie on your stomach and be on your phone or tablet instead of sitting and looking down. Because when you're on your stomach, you're extending, you're not compressing, right? So that's one too. If you have teenagers that are starting to really get into electronics, start them with a good habit of being on their stomach as opposed to sitting forward. So that can really help. So that is those are my 3 tips. Like I said, the biggest things I'm seeing with people coming into the office, they're complaining now. Time has gone by since they've had care, and now they're at their kitchen table, or they're watching more TV, or they're in their bed and on their phone more frequently. So I hope that you recognize yourself in one of those, and make some changes, so that way you don't be, like I said, one of these people that are coming in with flare-ups. That's the point of this. I want to avoid that. Now, I did also say that I had a bonus tip for parents. So right now, obviously kids aren't in school. If you're a parent, you're spending a little bit more time with your kids. So I want to talk about a couple quick things that parents are doing more of right now that are posturally going to affect you over time. So the first one has to do with little guys. So if you're picking up your children a lot, a mistake that parents make all the time is they pick their kids up and they hold them always on the same side. It tends to be they hold their kids on the left hip if they're right-handed. So you hold your kid here so you can like cook or write something or be on your phone or do something with that hand. So the problem with that is you're hiking your hip up, and it's that same hip all the time, and your body's tensing to compensate for that. So you just have to really make sure that you're holding your kids on both sides and not creating a pattern for yourself. This is something I talk to my new moms and dads about all the time. But I want to just, especially right now because we're home more with our kids. So even the bigger kids, my kid's 4, I still pick them up. So I just have to still be conscious to make sure that I'm holding them on both sides. Now, if you do have to pick up a child, now, and if you're not a parent, this also applies to anything you have to pick up off the ground. Squat to pick them up instead of leaning forward, okay, as much as possible. If you have a child in a crib, you can't squat to get them out. My son last night, giving him a bath, I can't squat because I have to get over the bathtub. But there are other opportunities that you can, and take those opportunities, because leaning over repetitively can really put a strain on your back. If you're picking up toys, cleaning up a little bit more, like anything where you're leaning forward, try and squat down to grab it instead of leaning forward. It's just going to save your back. Books. So if you're like me and you have a child that likes to read, I'm reading a lot of books with him right now. And the one thing is, it just kind of goes along with the tips I was just talking about with your cell phone and your tablet and that. But if this is my book, try not to have it flat and we're sitting and looking at the book. Elevate it so we're looking forward instead of down as much. So children's books are the same thing. Okay, so make sure you're elevating so everybody's looking forward. And the last thing with kids is coloring or doing arts and crafts. If you have an easel, then your kid, because listen, your 3-year-old's posture is just as important as your posture. And if you're doing it with them, okay, so using an easel is nice because, again, we're looking forward and minimizing how much we look down, okay? And that's, I hope you're, no problem, Ashley, you're welcome. But it's super, super important. You've got a little one, so these are things that you need to do with her, right? And just start with good habits from the beginning. Coloring, just always done on an easel. And it's going to, you know what? Here's the thing is, we're seeing 6-year-old kids with headaches now. Like, a lot of these problems are happening younger and younger, and it's because of electronics, and it's because of lifestyle change. They're not playing as much, they're not out as much. And some of these things can make a difference for them, like starting with these healthy habits, making sure, just like I said, you can't sit for more than 30 minutes without standing up and taking a break. Your kid's the same. Make sure they're getting up and moving and not just sitting in one spot, you know, for 30 minutes without moving, okay? So that's my parenting posture tips. So overall, just to review, remember there was a few reasons why posture is so important. We talked about symptoms and tension and headaches and back pain. We talked about lung capacity and breathing and how that's important for oxygen and energy, and also some of the mental mindset things. When our posture is better, we have better confidence, better self-esteem, we handle stresses better. So all of that's very, very important. And we talked about, you know, being at a desk. Again, I'm going to post under, when I'm done talking here, the link to that webinar where I went deep on your desk, setting up a home office, so that way you're prepared. And as well, just some of those TV and bed and cell phone postures and some of the parenting things. Now, if anyone has any questions, if there's something that you're doing right now that you're not sure you're using good posture, if there's something I haven't addressed, if you'd like me to address it for you, please just comment in the box and I'll be happy to do so. But if not, just know that I'm always here for you. If you have any questions, you don't need a comment box right now. At any time, you can send me a personal message or call the office. And if there's anything I can help you with, especially right now, again, our office isn't open as normally it is. But if there are any emergencies or anything, I can help you with that if you need it. And other than that, please, if you found value in this video, like it, love it, share it. Please spread the message because again, I don't want you to be one of the people that I've been seeing more frequently in the last weeks. People that have been doing so good for so well now all of a sudden are having all these problems, and so that's why I've been doing these videos to help my patients and the community not have these issues. So you're so welcome, Mackenzie. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day as well. And to everybody watching, have a great day. Please reach out if you need anything. Thanks so much. Bye.